What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I am on my balcony and I want to talk a little bit about discretionary spending. And we're going to be talking about Ron Johnson. And you might think, well, why do I even care about discretionary spending? Well, you're going to care about this after I talk about it for a little bit, because we're talking about Social Security, we're talking about Medicare. These are two programs that are very popular amongst the American people. And I would say about 70, I think the last poll that I saw was about 70 to 80% of people in the US are for Social Security and for Medicare. Why? Because most of us, when we get to that age, we will be taking in Social Security and will probably get on Medicare. And so what's interesting is you've had politicians, you had Rick Scott, he was talking about the sunsetting of Social Security and Medicare after 5 years. They need to reevaluate the programs to see if the programs should still be around, basically. And so just last week, we had Ron Johnson, another Republican senator, talking about discretionary spending and how every year we should be looking at Social Security and Medicare. Now, why is this problematic? Well, it's problematic because if we make it discretionary spending and not automatic, right now it's automatic, okay? So people are paying into this payroll tax and that money is going towards Social Security and Medicare, and that is the money that they're using to fund benefits. So if we're looking at a situation where every year they need to look into it, politicians need to look into it, it would be much like the budget that we have right now. Every year, by the end of September, they need to have a plan for the budget, okay? They need to vote on this. And what do they do every year? And we're gonna see this in a couple of months. Every year, every single year, they kick the can down the road, it goes down to the last hour, and sometimes it doesn't even go down to the last hour because they can't decide, and then what happens? We have a government shutdown. Could you imagine if we had a government shutdown because of Social Security and because of Medicare and people didn't receive their money? Could you imagine how terrible that would be for people on a fixed income, people receiving Social Security, people receiving SSI, SSDI, people who are receiving Medicare? It would be an absolute disaster. But every year, what Ron Johnson wants to do is every year he wants that to happen. He wants that to be on the table. And the main reason why a politician would want that to be on the table and they would want it to be discretionary is because they want to take away from that program. They want to take away from Social Security. They want to take away from Medicare. Now it's a negotiation. Now they have to bargain back and forth. And so if Democrats want to keep Social Security and Republicans want to get rid of Social Security, Republicans are going to say, well, we're not going to vote on this if these things are in it. You need to take these things out and then we'll vote on it. And so that is the huge danger that we're looking at right now. We already have several politicians, several senators that have been talking about making this discretionary. And the only thing that I can think of that should be discretionary every year is the salaries of these politicians. That should be discretionary. That's automatic. They're automatically getting that $175,000 a year. That should be discretionary. If you do work, you get paid. If you don't do work, like we're seeing a lot of politicians not doing work, you don't get paid. That should be discretionary. But that's not how it works. And so we need to watch this. We need to watch it very closely because this is very, very dangerous. When you start having politicians talking about discretionary spending for Social Security and for Medicare, that is a recipe for disaster for a lot of people. Because I'm telling you, they're going to hold the American people hostage if they have this discretionary spending, and then they're going to start cutting the program. That is the whole plan, okay? And I talked about this before when I talked about how Democrats and Republicans, and I'm trying not to make it a Democrat-Republican issue. However, Republicans are the only ones coming out talking about discretionary spending for Social Security and Medicare. Democrats aren't talking about that. As a matter of fact, Democrats want to expand Social Security and expand Medicare, where Republicans are not talking about that right now. You have some Republicans that are really talking about dismantling Social Security, dismantling Medicare, privatizing it, whatever they want to do, whatever their plan is. You hear a lot of that. And so that's why I'm talking Democratic, Republican, back and forth, because that's what we're seeing. Okay, and that turns a lot of people off. You start talking about Republicans, Democrats, it turns people off. But the reality is you just have to look at it. And if you're receiving Social Security right now, or you're a person who's getting ready to retire and you want to receive Social Security, you need to be aware of what's going on and what the platforms are saying, what these politicians are saying, and what the Republican platform says and what the Democratic platform says. And right now, the Republican platform, they don't want to expand Social Security, and you have some Republicans that are talking about discretionary spending for Social Security and Medicare. Okay, right now, the Democratic platform, they want to expand Social Security, of course, keep it solvent. Now, both parties are talking about keeping it solvent, so they do want to address the trust fund. Both parties do, but they have different ways of doing it. Democrats want to raise taxes on the wealthy, whereas Republicans right now, when it comes to the trust fund, they want to raise the age limit to receive Social Security. Raising the age limit, that would allow for more money, because you're paying in the payroll tax, would allow for more money to come into the system. And if you allow for more money to come into the system, that would help with the trust fund. So if you're one of those people that are out there and you're 66, 67, you're thinking about, I'm at that age now where I can receive Social Security, you could be in a situation, if Republicans take over the Senate and Republicans take over the House, that's what they could start talking about. Now, it might not go anywhere because you still have the presidency, you still have now it might not go anywhere because you still have Democrats running the executive branch, the presidency, so he can always veto this. But this is what we would probably hear a lot of talk about. So I want to know what you guys think about this. I think this is very, very important. I'm going to keep talking about this because this is something that will affect all of us at some point. Now, you might not be receiving Social Security right now, but in the future, if you're receiving Social Security, you could be in a situation where this is affecting you, and you could be one of those people that has to wait until you're 70 to start collecting Social Security, or you have to wait until you're 65 to start collecting Medicare if they raise the age limit on Medicare as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.